wasn't planning on coming back, not after 25 years. But the thing about the Mojave is, after enough time out there, everything starts to feel borrowed. Your shelter, your friends, your luck. None of it ever really belongs to you. The vault, though, Vault 46, that was mine once. I grew up in those halls, scraped my knees on those floors, dreamed under those flickering old lights. So when my wanderings finally brought me within a few miles of its canyon, I don't know. Something in me just kind of turned around. Like a part of me had been walking back here the whole time. I don't even remember deciding to push the brush aside and step into that narrow rock corridor. I was just suddenly there. Standing in front of the service door carved into the cliffside, looking at rust patterns I used to trace with my finger as a kid. The access panel still worked. Faded. Scratched. But when I pressed my hand to it, the screen blinked awake with a chirpy little tone. "Welcome home, resident." The text flickered once, like even the vault wasn't sure it meant it. Then the door unsealed with that familiar hydraulic groan. And that smell, warm air rushing out, thick with recycled oxygen, coolant, and something sweet I didn't recognize. It hit me like walking into a memory I'd forgotten I still cared about. I stepped inside. The corridor lights clicked on in sequence, stretching into the vault like a line of dominoes. Only, they weren't the old harsh blue-white tubes I remembered. These glowed warmer, almost golden. Maybe upgraded. Maybe aging. Maybe my eyes were just adjusting. Either way, it didn't sit quite right. Footsteps echoed from deeper down the hall. Then a figure rounded the bend. A woman. Mid-40s now, maybe. But I'd know that face anywhere. "Daniel?" Her voice cracked like she wasn't sure I was real. "Carla," I said. Her whole expression lit up. Too fast. Too bright. Then she threw her arms around me. Oh God. "Daniel. Look at you, you're..." She pulled back, hands on my shoulders. "I can't believe you're here, after all this time, after everything." I was still trying to steady myself from the hug when two more dwellers came jogging down the hall. Jared and Mia, both smiling like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this moment. "Price," Jared boomed. "Well, I'll be damned." But as he slapped my back, I felt his fingers tighten around the strap of my pack. Too tight. Instinctive. Possessive. A little flash of something like irritation, before he plastered a grin back on. "Let me carry this for you," he said. Didn't wait for a yes, just took it. I forced a smile. Sure." They crowded around me then, touching my arms, asking questions too quickly, talking over each other. Their cheerfulness was almost overwhelming. Not fake, just too much. Like they were repeating lines they'd practiced. Carla kept brushing a bit of dust off my shirt. Mia's eyes were wide, pupils too dilated. Jared's smile didn't look like it fit his face anymore. "We're so happy you returned, Daniel," Carla said softly. "You came back at the perfect time." "That's what everyone keeps saying," I replied. "What does that mean?" Her smile twitched for the briefest second, then reset. "You'll see. That phrase again. You'll see." Like a cue in a play, I swallowed and turned my head slightly. The lights above us shimmered, just a fraction, like I was looking through warm air rising off a road. Carla noticed me glance up. "Oh, don't worry. Everything's stable," she said calmly. "Very stable. Perfectly stable." The way she said it made my skin crawl. Before I could ask anything else, someone approached from down the hall. Thin. Nervous. Eyes darting to the walls, the floor. Us. It took me a moment to recognize him. Edgar Lutz. He used to be one of the calmest people in the vault. Soft-spoken. Level-headed. Now he looked like he'd slept in a closet for a week. When he saw me, his face tightened, not into a smile, into something like pity. "You shouldn't have come back, Daniel," he said quietly. Jared stepped between us instantly. "Edgar," he said lightly, voice still bright but with steel underneath. "That's not the way." Edgar flinched hard. I wasn't saying anything," he muttered. Then he backed away and slipped into a side corridor, glancing over his shoulder twice. Carla touched my arm again, guiding me toward the atrium. "Don't mind him," she whispered. "He's been struggling." Her tone softened even more. "He hasn't been following the way." "The way?" I echoed. Carla smiled, serene, rehearsed, and unblinking. "You'll understand soon." The corridor ahead shimmered again. Just a breath, just a flicker. And for the first time since stepping inside Vault 46, I felt something tighten low in my chest. This place felt familiar. But the people inside it didn't. The closer we got to the atrium, the more the vault felt occupied. Not crowded. Occupied. Voices drifted down the hall in soft conversation. Not the usual chatter I remembered from morning shifts or meal breaks. These were quieter. Measured. People speaking just loud enough to be heard, but not loud enough to interrupt whatever atmosphere they were all trying to maintain. And their tones. Everyone sounded like they were reading from the same emotional script. Warm. Reassuring. Slow. Careful. It put my nerves on edge. I glanced over my shoulder once, half expecting Edgar to reappear. But the corridor behind us was empty. Too empty. Carla noticed. "He'll be fine," she said softly, as if sensing the direction of my thoughts. "He's just been resisting the way. It makes people unsettled. But you," she squeezed my arm lightly, "you'll take to it. I know you will." "I'm not sure what that means," I said. Carla's smile didn't falter. "You will." We stepped into the atrium. My breath hitched. It wasn't anything dramatic. No blood smeared on the walls, no flickering sparks, no bodies piled in corners. On the surface, it looked almost exactly like I remembered it. Tables arranged neatly, holotapes stacked in the media alcove, colorful posters lining the walls. Except the posters were different. Vault-Tec, stay happy. Vault-Tec, stay productive. Vault-Tec, trust the plan. Except someone had traced over the text. Painted in careful looping strokes, right on top of the slogans, was a second layer. Follow the way. He leads. We were shown. The original words were still there, but the new ones swallowed them whole. My stomach twisted. Carla saw me looking at the posters. "Oh, those aren't official," she said lightly, as if we were talking about misplaced decorations. "People started adding them after he came. It helps everyone stay centered." "Who is he?" I asked. Carla paused. Her smile grew wider. "You'll meet him soon." Jared returned then, still carrying my pack, still smiling. A few dwellers glanced at me from across the atrium. Their eyes lingered too long. Their smiles held too steady. Their whispers felt synchronized. A wave of warmth hit me. Not emotional warmth. Literal warmth. As if the vents above were pushing out air just a few degrees too hot. I tugged lightly at my collar. "Has the temperature changed in here?" I asked. "Oh, don't worry," Mia said from behind me. "It's because of the wellness treatments. They help people feel at peace." "Wellness treatments," I repeated flatly. Carla clapped her hands softly. "Right. Speaking of that, we should bring him to the clinic. He needs his re-entry dose." I stopped walking. "My what?" "Your re-entry dose." Carla said it like she was announcing a lunch menu. "It's standard now. Everyone gets a small amount daily. It keeps us clear. Keeps us on the way." The warmth behind my eyes intensified. My pulse thudded once, hard. "Carla," I said quietly. What exactly are you giving people? She tilted her head, sweet, confused, but her eyes flicked with something sharp underneath. It's just a serum, an old Vault-Tec formulation. We've always had it, Daniel. You just left before the program matured. What's it called? 393. Serum 393. I froze. I didn't know why the number scared me, but it did. Something in that name felt clinical in the wrong way, like an unfinished experiment. Carla placed her hand on my back. Come on, she whispered. You don't have to be afraid. We all take it. It helps us see the way. A chill spread through me, even though the air was still too warm. Before I could answer, the comm system clicked on above us. The overseer's voice, calm, warm, soothing, flooded the atrium. Residents, take a moment to welcome Daniel Price home. Every head turned toward me. Every smile deepened in perfect unison. I swallowed. The overseer continued. He has returned just as the way foretold. Treat him with kindness, offer him guidance, prepare him for his first step. Carla's hand tightened on my back, gentle, sweet, and terrifying. See, she whispered. The overseer knows. You're meant to be here for this. The lights above shimmered again, just a flicker. Just enough to make the room look like it breathed, and then, across the atrium, half hidden behind a pillar, someone was staring at me. Edgar. Eyes bloodshot, chest heaving, hands trembling. He mouthed something, a single word. Run. Before I could even blink, a smiling guard stepped between us and guided him gently out of sight. My heart hammered once, violently. Carla tugged my sleeve. Come on, Daniel. We'll take you to the clinic now. And with every step toward that door, the air grew sweeter, warmer, thicker, like the vault itself was trying to pull me deeper. The clinic was only a short walk from the atrium, but every step toward it felt like the vault walls were leaning inward, nudging me, guiding me. Soft pressure, like a hand on the back. The hallway lights had that same warm tint, still golden, still too gentle. And the recycled air carried a faint sweetness I couldn't place, like citrus mixed with melted plastic. Carla walked beside me, humming an old Vault-Tec tune under her breath. Not quite the right notes, just close enough to sound familiar, just off enough to make my skin crawl. When we reached the clinic doors, she pulled one open and gestured inside. After you, Daniel. My instincts balked. Every nerve ending in me screamed, don't go in there. But I forced myself to breathe and stepped through. The clinic hadn't changed much. Same metal counters, same humming refrigeration units, same posters about cold prevention and recognizing stress. Everything was where I remembered it, except the shelf of syringes, dozens of them, lined in perfect rows, filled with a fluid that shimmered, as if it caught light from the inside. Serum 393. The sweet smell in the room thickened. Behind the counter, Dr. Halpern, one of the old vault medics, looked up. His face was older, deeper creased, but the smile he gave me was unsettlingly serene. Daniel Price, he said warmly. You've come home. I forced a nod. Long time. Yes, he murmured, already preparing a syringe. A long time. But the way brings us all back eventually. I swallowed. What exactly is the way, Doctor? Halpern didn't answer. Not directly. He drew the serum like a practiced ritual, hands steady, eyes half-lidded, breathing as if in meditation. It's the path we're guided on, he said softly. The way shows us purpose, peace, clarity. A small, reverent sigh. It makes everything easy. He approached with the syringe. Hold out your arm. I didn't move. Doc, I said carefully. I've been gone a long time. My system might not react well. Maybe we should... It's quite safe, he said gently. All of us take it, even the overseer. His eyes softened. It will help you feel connected, balanced. You'll understand the way once it's in your blood. Carla stepped close. Too close. Her hand brushed my arm. It's okay, Daniel. Trust us. Her voice was soft. Too soft. Like velvet draped over a trap. I was weighing my options. 1,000,000 of them, none good. When a voice behind us spoke. I want to talk to him first. Edgar. He was standing in the doorway, breathing hard, eyes darting like he was fighting the urge to bolt. Carla's smile faltered. Edgar, she said. This isn't the time. He ignored her, his gaze locked onto mine, fear and desperation swirling in his expression. Daniel, he whispered. Don't let them give you that. Don't. A guard appeared almost instantly behind him, hand clamping down gently on Edgar's shoulder. That's not the way, the guard murmured with calm firmness. Edgar flinched. His whole body tightened like he'd been shocked. Please, he breathed. Just let him hear it from me. Let someone hear it. Carla stepped forward with a smile that didn't touch her eyes. You're struggling, Edgar, she said softly. Go rest. The overseer said you need rest. I don't need rest, he snapped, loud, frantic, raw. I need someone to see what's happening. The serum's wrong. It's... The guard's grip tightened. Edgar sucked in a sharp, pained breath. Don't make this harder, the guard whispered. Halpern stepped forward, syringe still in hand. Please escort him to his quarters, Halpern said calmly. Edgar's gaze snapped to him. Halpern, you're killing people, he choked out. You just don't see it. You don't see any of it. Carla's hand curled around my wrist. Daniel, ignore him. He's lost his way. Edgar's eyes went wide. A single tear slipped down his cheek. No, he whispered. You all did. The guard dragged him out. Not violently. Not yet. But with a firmness that promised consequences. I stared at the syringe in Halpern's hand. At the way the serum shimmered faintly. My pulse thudded hard. Doc, I said quietly. Let me take a minute. Coming home, seeing everyone again. It's a lot. Halpern paused. His eyes searched mine. Then, to my shock, he nodded. Of course, he said gently. The way must be taken calmly. We'll give you a moment. He set the syringe down. Carla's hand slipped away from my arm. Her smile returned, soft and patient. Whatever you need, Daniel. We'll be waiting. I stepped backward out of the clinic. The door slid shut. And the last thing I heard, just faintly, muffled by metal and distance, was Edgar screaming somewhere deeper in the vault. A scream cut short by a sharp, sickening crack. And then, silence. I didn't run. I should have. Any sane person would have sprinted straight for the exit after hearing a scream cut short like that. But vault instincts die hard. You grow up in one of these places long enough, and you learn not to panic in the halls where your entire childhood happened. Or maybe the lingering sweetness in the recycled air was already sinking its hooks into me. I steadied myself against the wall outside the clinic, trying to force my breathing into something normal. The hum of the reactor felt louder. The lights glowed warmer. A faint shimmer rippled across the floor, like sunlight dancing through water. I blinked hard. The shimmer vanished. Daniel? I jerked around. A dweller stood near the atrium entrance. Someone I vaguely remembered from school. Clerical job. Quiet type. His name bubbled up from a place I didn't know I still had memories stored. Thompson, I said slowly. His smile stretched across his face like fresh paint. You're back, he said. So good. It's good you came back. Is everything all right? I asked. Oh, yes, he breathed. Everything's exactly how it should be. But as he stepped closer, I caught the way his jaw tightened. just a flicker, before relaxing again. He offered no explanation, just nodded toward the atrium. Come on, everyone's gathering. The overseer wants to say a few words now that you've returned. I need a second, I said quietly. Thompson's smile froze, stiffened. That's not the way, Daniel. There it was again. The way. Always the way. I forced a nod just to get him to relax. I'll be there in a moment. He left reluctantly, face smoothing back into that unsettling calm as he walked. When he was gone, I slipped away from the main corridor toward a side hallway leading to the hydroponics bay. I needed space. Air. Something that didn't feel scripted. The farther I walked, the quieter the vault became. The lights hummed. Pipes ticked as warm air pushed through them. Rows of hydroponics trays buzzed softly in the distance. Then I heard it. A whisper. Faint. Harsh. Close. Daniel. I spun. Edgar. He was half crouched behind a row of nutrient tanks, leaning against one of the support columns. Sweat rolled down his face. His pupils were huge. Hands shaking like he was cold. But the fear in his eyes was clear. Human. You didn't take it, he gasped. I swallowed. No. Good, he breathed, voice cracking. It means there's still time. He staggered closer, gripping the metal railing with one trembling hand. You have to listen to me, he whispered. Serum 393. It wasn't meant to be used this long. It spoils. Breaks down. A shudder ripped through him. It used to just calm people, help them focus. But after 25 years, he choked. It rewires them, Daniel. Makes them see patterns that aren't there. Makes them feel touched by something that isn't real. The way, I murmured. Yes. He nodded vigorously. Too vigorously. That's the degradation talking. It gives them euphoria, meaning connection. But only if they keep taking it. His voice cracked. And if they stop, it tears their minds apart. I stepped back as he stumbled toward me. Edgar, when you left earlier, what did they do to you? He swallowed hard. I tried to flush it out, he whispered. Stopped taking it for 3 days. His hand clenched around the railing. I thought if I could just clear my head, maybe I could show them. His breath trembled. But the way doesn't like when you turn away. The phrase hit me like a weight dropped from the ceiling. Who told you that? Edgar's expression darkened, terrified, and reverent all at once. He did. I felt my stomach tighten. The overseer? No. Edgar's voice dropped to a hoarse whisper. He. The one they found. The one they dressed. The one they follow. The warm buzz behind my eyes pulsed once, like a heartbeat that wasn't mine. Who is he, Edgar? Edgar's lips trembled. You'll see, he whispered. I wish you wouldn't. But you will. My skin prickled. Footsteps echoed from the end of the corridor. Multiple sets. Calm, steady, purposeful. Edgar's face went pale. You need to leave, he hissed. Now. Before. The ceiling lights above him flickered, then hissed, then bathed the hallway in a golden glow that pulsed like a slow exhale. Edgar flinched violently, hands clutching his head. No, not again. Not now. The footsteps grew louder, closer. Carla's voice drifted down the hall, gentle and melodic. Edgar, that's not the way. Edgar staggered backward, eyes wide, breathing like he was drowning. You see, he gasped to me. You see how wrong it is? How they sound. It's all the serum, it's all. 3 guards rounded the corner, smiling, soft-voiced. Come with us, one said. You're frightening the others. I'm trying to save the others, Edgar screamed. He bolted. Not past them, toward the atrium, toward open space, noise, people. He wasn't thinking. He wasn't aiming. He was panicking. Everything that happened next unfolded too fast. Carla reached for him. Edgar jerked away. A guard tried to restrain him. Edgar twisted, elbowing him in the ribs. The second guard stepped in, arms low, calm, measured. Edgar swung wildly. Barely a slap, but enough to trigger instinct. The third guard's baton came down hard. One strike. Temple. A sharp, sickening crack. Edgar dropped instantly. Silence filled the hallway. Thick and wrong. Then Carla exhaled softly, as if relieved. He turned from the way, she murmured. It's sad, but it happens. The guards lifted Edgar's body with careful reverence, smiles still plastered on their faces, and carried him away. Carla turned to me slowly. Her smile was back, warm, wide, empty. Daniel, she said gently, you shouldn't be wandering. You're not attuned yet. Come. The overseer wants to prepare you. My heart hammered. My throat went dry. And when the lights above flickered again, for just a moment, I could have sworn they made the hallway breathe. Carla didn't grab me, didn't force me. But the look in her eyes said I wasn't walking away either. Not without drawing attention. Not without inviting the same fate Edgar met. So I nodded slowly, as if I had no objections, as if everything was fine. All right, I murmured. Lead the way. Her smile softened, warm, reassuring. But behind it, something sharpened, like she was assessing whether the serum would take to me easily, or whether I'd need help. The guards dispersed, walking calmly as if nothing had happened at all. Edgar's blood was still on the floor, a thin smear starting to dry. Carla didn't look at it, not once. She guided me back toward the atrium with that same strange serenity they all had, a kind of gentle purpose that made the hairs on my arms rise. The vault wasn't quiet anymore. It hummed, not mechanically, not the ventilation or the generators, but with voices, soft ones, whispers drifting through the halls like a breeze, not words exactly, more like tones, murmurs, harmonies. They didn't sound natural. They sounded coordinated, like the vault itself was breathing through its people. Carla noticed the way I glanced toward a passing group of dwellers who whispered mid-step, their smiles bright and unwavering. They're excited, she said warmly. They haven't had someone return in so long. How long? I asked. Her eyes brightened. Not since he came to us. My throat tightened, but I kept my voice steady. And how long ago was that? She tilted her head, almost puzzled by the question. Time doesn't matter when you follow the way. He shows us where we need to be. The warm air around me seemed to thicken, almost shimmer, a subtle heat wave warping the edges of the corridor. I blinked, and the shimmer vanished. Serum traces in the vents? Or just nerves? The atrium doors slid open. This time it was crowded. Rows of dwellers sat in neat semicircles. The overhead lights had been dimmed. Soft, pulsing ambers replaced them. Like candles, but mechanical. A low hum underscored the room, like someone singing a single note from very far away. The overseer stood on the central platform. He was older than I remembered, hair grayer, back stiffer, but his posture had that strange, serene authority that matched everyone else. Welcome, he said, his voice carrying gently across the atrium. Today is a day of return, of renewal, a path closing and a path opening. The dwellers murmured together. The way is open. My blood ran cold. The overseer extended a hand toward me. Daniel Price, he continued, you left us in confusion once, chasing a world that didn't deserve you. But the way has brought you home, just as it promised. The crowd's smiles deepened. Something moved behind the overseer. Just a shadow, a shift of fabric, a flicker of something tall. I blinked. Nothing there. The air tasted sweet on my tongue. The overseer's smile widened. "We will prepare you," he said softly. "You will see what we see. Feel what we feel. Understand what we understand." The dwellers echoed in unison. "He will show you." My chest tightened. "Who?" I asked, voice barely steady. The overseer's eyes glowed with quiet reverence. "Our guide," he murmured. "The one who watches. The one who protects. The one who showed us the way when the world abandoned us." A woman near the front leaned forward, eyes shining. "He saved us," she whispered. A man chimed in softly. "He keeps us whole." Another whispered, "He keeps us together." Carla took a step closer to me, voice gentle. "You'll meet him soon. Not yet. You must be prepared. Or he will overwhelm you." A flicker of movement caught the edge of my vision again. Something tall, broad, draped in blue fabric, gone the moment I turned my head. The warmth behind my eyes throbbed. A pulse. A slow wave of heat rising from inside my skull. The overseer lifted his hand slightly. "The serum will help you join us," he said. "It will clear away the noise. It will show you the way." The dwellers whispered as one. "The way is clear." The pressure in the room built. Not physical, not emotional. Something else. Expectation. The overseer stepped down from the platform and approached me slowly. "Come," he said softly. "You're almost ready." I tried to step back. My legs didn't move. Carla's hand touched my elbow. "You're safe," she whispered. "It's time to see." The room shimmered again. The lights bending slightly, faces flickering at the edges, the hum deepening into a low, resonant harmony. Then, a shadow fell across the far wall. Tall, massive, shoulders too broad for any human silhouette, draped in fabric, blue fabric, faded vault suit cloth stitched into a ceremonial mantle. My heart slammed against my ribs. Carla leaned close, her lips near my ear. "He's waiting for you." The shadow shifted, just a fraction, just enough that I could tell. It wasn't alone. Whatever was wearing that mantle was breathing. Very slowly, very heavily. A deep, low rumble vibrated the air. Not a growl, not a word, just breath. Massive, wet, broken. The overseer's voice dropped to a whisper. "Daniel Price, meet the one who showed us the way." The shadow moved again, closer. I didn't blink. I couldn't. And when a faint beam of amber light caught its outline, just barely, I saw skin. Yellow, taut, pulpy. A super mutant, draped in a cape of torn vault suits, eyes half open but unfocused. Breathing, upright, but empty. A god to them. A husk to everyone else. My breath froze. Carla whispered at my side. "He chose us. And now, he chooses you." The warmth behind my eyes surged, and the shadow took one slow, silent step. The mutant stepped forward again. Slow, deliberate, heavy. Not stomping, not charging, just moving. As if pushed gently by invisible hands, or following some memory of motion long since burned out of its mind. The cape draped over him, blue vault fabric stitched crudely together, dragged across the floor with a soft scrape. The dwellers watched him in reverence, smiling, breathing in sync with his ragged inhale. My own breath caught in my throat. I'd seen super mutants before, the violent kind, the wandering kind, the kind that tore a man apart with casual indifference. But I'd never seen one like this. This one wasn't angry, wasn't aware, wasn't anything. His eyes, half-lidded, unfocused, were fogged and milky, like he was looking through a window smeared with oil. One hung slightly lower than the other, giving his expression a permanent slackness. He breathed in a long, labored wheeze, like air dragging through torn lungs, and exhaled with a tremor, that made the atrium lights flicker. The dwellers shuddered collectively, like the sound filled them with warmth instead of dread. Carla squeezed my arm. "Do you feel it?" she whispered. I felt something, all right, the creeping wrongness crawling up my spine. The overseer approached the mutant reverently. He placed both hands on the creature's abdomen, the only part of its massive body he could reasonably reach, and bowed slightly. "Guide us," he murmured. The mutant didn't respond, didn't even notice the touch, his head lolled to one side, mouth hanging slightly open, a thin string of saliva stretching from one fang-like tooth, still breathing, still upright, still being worshipped. The overseer turned to me. "Daniel," he said with calm certainty, "you will take your first step tonight. The serum will show you the truth. It will let you see him as we do, not just a form, but a sign." The dwellers echoed softly. A sign. I swallowed hard. The warmth behind my eyes pulsed. The room shifted again, faces softening, edges smearing slightly, colors deepening into unnatural hues. Not hallucinations. Not yet. Just the early hints of whatever lingered in the air. The overseer extended a hand. "Come. Stand before him. Let him see your spirit." Carla urged me forward gently. My body moved on instinct. A half step I never meant to take. A surrender to pressure rather than belief. The mutant towered over me now, his breath washing over my face in slow, rotting waves. Up close, the heat radiating from him felt wrong, like a fever that never broke, like standing beside a reactor vent. His eyes. God, his eyes. They didn't look at me. They didn't look through me. They didn't look anywhere. They just drifted. One slightly upward, the other lagging a moment behind. A single, sluggish drop of saliva slid down his chin, catching the amber light before falling to the floor with a soft tap. The dwellers sighed, as if witnessing something sacred. I forced my voice out in a rasp. What happened to him?" Carla leaned closer, her breath warm on my neck. "He was given to us," she whispered. "Found in the service tunnels, waiting. Silent. Guiding." Her voice softened into reverence. "He watches over us. He keeps us on the way." "He's brain dead," I whispered. Her smile didn't falter. "That's not the way." The overseer gestured again. "Daniel, step forward." My pulse hammered so hard it rattled my ribs. If I refused, I'd be dragged. If I ran, I'd be hunted. If I fought, well, I'd seen what fighting back got, Edgar. So I stepped forward, one shaky foot at a time, until I stood directly beneath the massive creature's sagging jawline. The mutant's breath washed over me like damp cloth, warm, moist, heavy. I gagged, swallowing bile. The overseer spoke gently. "Place your hand on him." Every instinct in my body screamed. Every memory of the wastes, of gunfights, of ambushes, of the horrors I'd survived. All of it told me this was worse. But Carla gripped my wrist, guiding it upward. "Don't be afraid," she said softly. "He already knows you." I tried to pull away, not violently, just enough to show hesitation. Carla's smile flickered, tightened. "That's not the way, Daniel." And with calm, firm pressure, she pressed my hand against the mutant's chest. The skin was hot, feverish, too alive. Beneath it, a slow, thunderous heartbeat thudded irregularly, like the creature's body was struggling to remember how to live. The warmth behind my eyes spiked. My vision swam. Colors deepened. Edges softened. Carla's voice became a distant echo, floating somewhere behind cotton and fog. "Do you feel him?" My breath hitched. The heartbeat beneath my palm pulsed again. Harder, sending a ripple of heat up my arm. The overseer stepped closer. "Tonight," he whispered, "you begin the way." The mutant's chest rose with a deep, rattling inhale. Then, a faint sound escaped its throat. Not a word, not a growl, not human. Just a long, hollow moan that reverberated through its massive ribs and into my bones. The dwellers trembled in collective awe. Carla's voice broke into a whisper. He calls for the ritual. The overseer nodded. It's time. Carla's fingers intertwined with mine, not lovingly, but possessively. We'll take you to the chamber now, Daniel. The warmth behind my eyes surged, a wave crashing through my skull, and the room swayed. As they led me away, I looked back one last time. The mutant stood motionless, head slumped, cape dragging, breath escaping in wet, uneven moans, a towering husk mistaken for salvation. And every dweller in the atrium bowed their heads as if in the presence of a god. The corridor to the chamber was one I didn't remember, not because it was new, but because no one had ever been allowed down here. Maintenance tunnels, storage wings, emergency sublevels, the kinds of places kids were warned to stay away from. Back then, those warnings felt like typical Vault-Tec overreach. Now they felt like prophecy. Carla walked just ahead of me, fingers still laced around my wrist, like I was a child being guided through a crowd. The two guards flanked me silently. Neither spoke. Neither blinked much, either. Their smiles hadn't faded since the atrium. The warmth behind my eyes pulsed with each step. Not overwhelming, yet, but rising, coiling, like a fever waking up. My breath felt thicker, my heartbeat louder. And the corridor felt wrong. Lights flickered in soft, golden rhythms, not sporadically, but in waves, pulsing, synchronizing with something deeper in the vault. The hum in the air grew more resonant. It reminded me of the sound old generators made right before a meltdown. We turned a corner. That's when I saw it. A smear of dried blood on the floor. Not Edgar's. This was older, darker, flaked. Carla didn't look at it. She brushed past like it was part of the decor. We're almost there, she whispered kindly. You're doing so well. My throat tightened. The guards opened a reinforced utility door at the end of the corridor. Behind it, a service shaft, wide enough for equipment, but illuminated now by strings of soft amber lights draped in looping patterns. The air inside was warmer, thicker, and sweet. Sickeningly sweet. Like rotting fruit mixed with perfume. I swallowed against the nausea as they guided me forward. Carla, I managed quietly. What is this place? Where he was found, she said, and where you'll see the way clearly. The guard stepped ahead and undid manual locks on a heavy blast door. Locks far older than the rest of the vault's machinery. The door groaned open. A warm, stagnant gust rolled out. Inside, a repurposed storage chamber, but barely recognizable. Vault crates pushed against the walls, torn vault suits hanging like banners, symbols painted in looping strokes across every surface, on metal, on fabric, on pipes, all variations of spirals and circles and reaching lines. In the center, a low platform built from rearranged supply pallets and old cafeteria tables, covered in more torn vault suits, stained, worn, arranged with disturbing care. And at the foot of that platform, a metal restraint frame, modified, crude, waiting. Carla stopped beside me and squeezed my arm gently. You're shaking, she whispered. Don't be afraid. Everyone trembles their first time. The serum will guide you. He will guide you. The warmth behind my eyes surged, a pulse of heat followed by a ripple of distortion across the room. The symbols on the walls shimmered, shifted, became almost fluid, like they were breathing. I blinked hard. The effect eased, Carla's voice softened, almost musical. We only need a small dose, just enough to open you. A guard stepped forward with a syringe, Serum 393 shimmering inside. My chest seized. Carla, I breathed. Why does he need me drugged to talk to him? She tilted her head, confused. He doesn't talk, Daniel. He doesn't need to. We listen in other ways. We see in other ways. Her eyes glimmered with devotion. You'll feel his guidance, like a warmth, like clarity. The warmth behind my eyes pulsed again, responding to her words like they were a trigger. The guard approached. Carla held my hand tenderly. You're home, she whispered. It's time to take your place. The guard raised the syringe, then froze, because thoom! A deep, heavy impact echoed from the corridor outside. Carla tensed. Another tremor. Thoom! Not footsteps. Not machinery. Something hitting the wall. Something massive. The guards exchanged uneasy glances. Carla's smile finally broke. Just slightly. What? Is that? I whispered. She looked toward the door, breath shallow. That's not the ritual. The lights flickered wildly. A deep moan rolled through the vault. Not human. Not quite mutant. A blend of pain and instinct and something ancient. The guards stepped back from me. For the first time since I arrived, I saw fear in their eyes. Then, the blast door behind them buckled inward. A massive dent appeared at its center, metal groaning from the impact. Carla's voice shook for the first time. He shouldn't be here. Another impact. Metal tearing. I backed away instinctively. What's happening? I shouted. Carla turned, panic breaking through the serenity. He's not supposed to leave the atrium, not without guidance, not without the overseer. She didn't finish, because the blast door tore open like foil, and the towering silhouette of the super mutant stumbled into the chamber. Not marching, not attacking, just wandering. Lost, dragged by instinct alone. His cape of torn vault suits fluttered behind him. Saliva dripped from his slack jaw. His eyes, milky and unfocused, rolled unevenly in their sockets. He moaned, a long, hollow sound that vibrated every bone in my body. And the dwellers, they fell to their knees instantly. Even the guards, even Carla, all bowing, trembling, whispering, He comes, he shows the way. And me? I stood frozen, because the mutant's gaze, unfocused, drifting, finally landed somewhere near me. He reached one massive hand forward, not in attack, not in blessing, just movement, aimless, like a child reaching toward a light. But his shadow fell across me like a curtain. Carla whispered through trembling lips, Daniel, he has chosen you. The room swam. My vision wavered. The warmth behind my eyes exploded into heat, and when the mutant took his next step forward, the platform behind him creaked under his weight. The dwellers bowed deeper. The guards whispered prayers, and I realized they weren't bringing me to a ritual. They were feeding me to a god that didn't even know it existed. The mutant's shadow swallowed half the chamber, and with it, all sound seemed to thicken, like the vault was holding its breath. Carla, still kneeling beside me, lifted her head just enough to speak, her voice trembling despite the practiced serenity. Don't move, Daniel. He's trying to understand you. Understand me? The creature's milky eyes drifted over my face with a slow, drunken sway. Not recognition, not intention, just motion. His breath rolled out in a hot, damp exhale that smelled like rot and something chemical, like a cooling reactor leaking into a greenhouse. The warmth behind my eyes pulsed harder, the air shimmering faintly around his silhouette. One guard whispered shakily, Is he guiding? Is this part of the way? Another replied with a brittle, desperate devotion, Everything he does is the way. The overseer finally pushed his way into the room, sweat beading on his brow, voice wavering with reverent panic. Everyone, stay calm. He responds to peace, to order, to clarity. His words were drowned out by the mutant's next breath, a ragged exhale so deep the lights dimmed for a moment. Carla rose to her feet, eyes wide with awe and terror. He's drawn to Daniel, she whispered. It's like the Serum predicted. He senses the new path. I stumbled back a step. No, Carla, listen to me. He's not sensing anything. He doesn't even... The mutant lurched forward suddenly. Not a charge, not an attack. Just a clumsy shift of weight. A body following gravity rather than purpose. His shoulder slammed into a support beam with a metallic clang that echoed through the chamber. The dwellers gasped in unison as if witnessing divine power. Dust rained from the ceiling. Amber lights flickered violently. The mutant moaned, a deep, broken vibration, and the room erupted into desperate worship. He guides! He shows! He moves the way! The overseer raised both arms, trying to gather control. Prepare him. Prepare Daniel for the rite. This is the sign we've awaited. 2 guards reached for me, and that was the moment the serum in the air finally sank its teeth in. The warmth behind my eyes didn't pulse this time. It turned. Like something inside my skull shifted a degree off-center. The chamber warped slightly, edges bending inward, depth stretching outward. The painted symbols on the walls seemed to twist, their lines flowing like soft wax, spiraling toward the mutant, as if pulled by a gravitational center that didn't exist. I blinked hard, but the distortion didn't vanish. Instead, it softened into something dreamlike, something dangerous. A guard's voice echoed distantly. Hold him. Don't let him fall. Or was that, don't let him flee? Carla took my face gently in her hands, her eyes glassy with euphoria. It's beginning, she whispered. Do you feel it? The warmth. That's him letting you see the way. My heartbeat rattled in my chest. The mutant silhouette loomed larger, warping at the edges, his shape bending like heat waves rising off pavement. But somewhere beneath the hallucination, I still saw reality. He wasn't guiding me. He wasn't choosing me. He wasn't anything but a massive, brain-dead super mutant being used as a canvas for their delusions. My voice scraped out. Carla, he isn't leading you. He's sick. He's dying. He doesn't even know where he is. She smiled sadly, as if comforting a child. That's not the way. Behind her, the overseer barked. Restrain him, before the serum drifts too deep without anchoring. The guards lunged. Instinct overtook everything else. I shoved Carla aside and bolted for the open maintenance corridor. She hit the floor with a startled cry. The mutant turned his head, slowly lagging behind the motion, and let out a deep, hollow groan that vibrated my spine. The dwellers panicked. Stop him! He's turning from the way! Don't let him reject the gift! I sprinted blindly, vision swimming, walls warping like melting glass. Footsteps thundered behind me. Shouts echoed. Carla's voice cracked with desperate devotion. Daniel, no! You can't leave the rite. You'll lose the way. You'll lose everything. I ran harder. The corridor bent slightly, not physically, but perceptually. A curve in a straight line that made my balance falter. I slammed into a wall, gasping, head spinning. The warmth behind my eyes burned, like a fever spiking. And then, rounding a corner in a blur, I stumbled directly into the atrium. Large, open, echoing, empty now. Every chair overturned, symbols scattered, a faint scent of ozone in the air. Behind me, the rhythmic thunder of heavy feet. Not human, not coordinated. The mutant had wandered out of the chamber. He followed movement. Noise. instinct, and I'd made myself the loudest thing in the vault. He lumbered into the atrium doorway, silhouette massive, head rolling slightly to one side, breaths wheezing like punctured bellows. The dwellers flooded in behind him, arms raised, voices pleading. "Guide us! Show us! Keep him on the way!" But the mutant wasn't guiding. He was just moving. Aimless. Lost. Like a dying animal being worshipped as a prophet. The overseer's voice cracked as he shouted, "Stop him! Stop Daniel before—" He didn't finish. Because the mutant stumbled forward, one massive arm swinging loosely in an uncoordinated arc, and his wrist struck a row of tables. Hard. Metal screamed as furniture scattered. Dwellers shrieked. The impact tore one of the amber lamps from its column, sending it crashing to the floor. Sparks erupted. Smoke rose. Someone whispered in awe. "He brings the fire?" No, I thought. He doesn't bring anything. He's just falling apart. The mutant moaned, a long, pitiful sound, and turned clumsily toward the commotion. Toward me. His shadow stretched long across the atrium floor. The dwellers blocked the exits. The overseer cried out, "Seize him! He must not turn!" Carla's voice broke, cracked with grief. "Daniel, don't make us do this! Please, stay on the way!" I staggered backward. Smoke, shouts, heat, shimmering walls. The mutant's colossal form towered over the room, cape dragging behind him like a funeral shroud, and with the sweetness in the air digging deeper into my mind, distorting edges, stretching shadows. I realized something with cold, crushing clarity. They weren't going to let me leave. Not alive. And the mutant, their god, wasn't going to save me. He couldn't even save himself. My breath hitched. This was it. The overseer screamed, "Take him, now!" The dwellers surged, the guards charged, and the mutant, unaware, unguided, unstoppable, lurched forward again, straight toward me. The mutant lurched toward me with the weight of a collapsing tower, not purposeful, not controlled, not guided by anything but inertia and instinct. The atrium lights flickered wildly, casting his massive frame in stuttering amber shadows. Every breath he took rattled the air, a wet, broken groan rolling out of a chest, too swollen with heat and decay. The dwellers surged behind him, screaming half prayers, half orders. "Keep him in the way! Don't let Daniel fall! He must see! He must see!" Their voices blended with the rising hum in my head. That syrupy warmth behind the eyes, softening every edge, warping the air like heat off asphalt. But adrenaline cuts through anything, even Serum 393 drifting through the vents. I turned and bolted. The world tilted left, then right, the atrium bending like a funnel closing in on me. My boots hammered the floor as I sprinted past tables and banners, vault posters smeared with paint, faces blurred by smoke. Someone grabbed my arm, a dweller trembling with devotion. "Daniel, stop. Stop. You're leaving the way." I ripped myself free, shoving him aside. Another dweller blocked my path, arms outstretched. "Just breathe. Let the warmth guide." I shoulder-checked him hard, sending him sprawling across the floor. "Daniel!" Carla screamed behind me, voice cracking. "You don't understand. You can't reject this. You can't!" The mutant moaned behind her, a long, hollow bellow that vibrated dust from the ceiling. I hit the far corridor at a full sprint. Tools, vents, pipes, blurred into streaks as I ran. Lights pulsed in time with the fever building behind my eyes. The mutant's massive footfalls echoed behind me. Not fast, not coordinated, but heavy enough to shudder the floor. Thum, 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 the dwellers chased closer, their footsteps sharp, frantic, reverent. "Stop him. Don't let him turn. He must complete the rite." I reached the intersection. Left went deeper into the vault. Right led toward the service access, the exit. Hope. I turned right. The corridor warped under the serum haze, elongating, contracting, like it was breathing. A guard lunged from a side passage, baton raised. I ducked the swing by instinct. The baton slammed the wall, sparking, echoing. I drove my fist into his stomach. He doubled over in shock, his smile, his damn smile, never breaking. "You don't have to leave," he gasped. "You're just scared. You're fighting the way." I shoved him aside and sprinted on. Behind me, Carla's voice, frantic now. "Daniel, please, please don't do this. You'll break us. You'll break everything." I didn't look back. The service corridor loomed ahead. Dark, narrow, lit only by maintenance strips. My vision swam again, the floor rippling with phantom waves. But I kept running, until I hit metal, a locked bulkhead. No controls, no override, no access panel. Blocked. I spun. The dwellers spilled into the corridor behind me, their faces strained with fear and devotion. Weapons? None. They didn't need them. Belief was their weapon. "Daniel," the overseer whispered, stepping forward. "It's all right. Just breathe. Come back. Come back to the way." Carla pushed through the crowd, eyes wet, hands shaking. "Please," she begged. "This is your home. This is your path. We don't want to hurt you. We want to save you." Her sincerity cut deeper than any weapon, because she meant it. All of them did. But behind them, the mutant lumbered into view. His massive frame filled the corridor entrance, shoulders scraping the walls. The cape of torn vault suits dragged behind him, soaked with sweat and something darker. His head hung low, breaths wet and rattling, eyes unfocused, half closed. Barely alive, barely aware. He moved forward, not toward them, not toward me, just forward. A blind force of nature given a direction it never chose. The dwellers parted around him like worshippers around an altar. The overseer cried out. "He comes to bless the right," Carla gasped. "He's choosing." No, he wasn't. He was falling. I could see it. The slackening joints, the stuttering balance, the slow tilt of his massive frame. He wasn't reaching for me. He was collapsing. The mutant stumbled forward, shoulders slamming into the wall. The metal screamed under the impact. Panels buckled, bulbs shattered. He was going down. And in the narrow corridor, he was going to take everything with him. The dwellers didn't move, didn't scream. They reached out reverently, like believers greeting an angel descending. Carla's voice broke into a whisper. "He shows the way." I pressed myself against the bulkhead, eyes locked on the falling giant. Time warped. Slowed. The serum haze deepened the moment. Stretching sound, bending light, turning the mutant's fall into something almost surreal. His huge frame tipped. The cape fluttered like a collapsing flag. A massive hand scraped down the wall, leaving streaks of grime. Then, he hit the floor. Thoom! It was like a bomb detonated. The shockwave blasted dust from the ceiling, knocking dwellers off their feet, rattling my bones. The lights blew out. Darkness swallowed the corridor, broken only by flickering sparks and the soft groans of the dying giant. The mutant lay sprawled across half the hallway, huge chest rising shallowly, acidic breath scraping in and out. Alive. Barely. Carla crawled toward him, sobbing. "No! No! No! You're okay! You're okay! You show us! You show!" The overseer reached him and dropped to his knees, hands trembling violently. "Guide us! Please, guide us!" But the mutant didn't move, didn't speak, didn't bless. He only breathed, slow, broken, drowning in his own weight. The guards, dazed, staggered upright, trying to regain order. And the dwellers. The dwellers stared at the dying creature with a mixture of worship and terror. Because their god, their guide, their whole foundation was collapsing in front of them. Something in me cracked then. A clarity cutting through the serum haze. They needed me. They needed a sacrifice, a replacement, a meaning, a new way. Carla turned toward me, tears streaking her cheeks. "Daniel," she whispered, voice hoarse and trembling, "don't leave." I held her gaze for one long, painful moment. Then, I ran. Not toward the vault door, not toward freedom, just away. Away from them, away from him, away from the broken faith collapsing behind me. I tore down an auxiliary corridor, boots slamming metal, lungs burning, mind swimming. Alarms began to wail behind me. The vault panicking as its god died. Sirens blended with shouts, cries of despair, screams of devotion, orders to pursue. The warmth behind my eyes erupted into a final surge of heat. My vision blurred, my legs buckled. I crashed to the floor, tried to get up, failed. Darkness crept inward as voices echoed down the hall behind me. Carla's voice breaking apart. "Daniel, Daniel, please. You can't leave. You can't. You belong to the way. You belong." I clawed at the floor, pulled myself forward inch by inch. My breath was ragged. My head burned. My limbs trembled. The edges of my vision darkened. The floor swayed. The alarms faded. And as my strength slipped away, I thought, I shouldn't have come back. I shouldn't have come back. Until finally, everything faded.